Yeah, so we have Anthony Sims in the building. Anthony Sims Jr.,
And,
the magician.
can I give him your government name or no?
Yeah.
And Frog Dogg, my pops.
Frog Dogg. How we doing tonight?
We doing great.
Doing
Doing good.
all good?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Hey, there you go.
All right, so we had got the show started. We're talking about HBO's final show. You guys have any thoughts on that?
You guys want to make me talk on that?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Well, I mean, you can talk about.
After I just said this man will answer any question.
All right. I mean, I am. I say if you want me to talk about it, I will. So actually, it was crazy because the promoter of the show, his name is Tom something. I can't think of his name.
Tom Loafer.
Yeah, him.
Mhm.
I was talking to some people, and they was like, "So what do you think about the show?" I was like, "Man, this show sucks." And Tom was a part of the group. It was Tom, Kevin Kelly,
Mhm.
and this other guy I knew from Minnesota. And he says, "Well, what do you know about boxing?" I said, "I know a little bit." He's like, "You ever fought before?" I was like, "Kinda." He's like, "Well, then you don't need to speak on this." I was like, "Well, I got somebody to speak on it for me." And he's like, "Who? Who the hell can speak on boxing for you on your behalf?" I was like, "My promoter, Eddie Hearn."
Uh-oh. Now, who was this? Tom?
This was Tom. I didn't know Tom was a
He hasn't been
promoter.
doing his
Wow.
homework, huh?
Man, he didn't know.
He doesn't watch his own?
He didn't know the magician.
Come on.
Oh.
Come on, Tom. Come on, Tom.
What was his reaction?
Well, because of the pigment of his skin, his face turned red.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Absolutely.
You were there too, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. No, yeah. Eddie Hearn's my promoter. He left me tickets, so he popped up.
I'm
and,
glad to hear there was actually people there.
It was, man. You know, it's upsetting. You know, for HBO
Mhm.
boxing to be such a big thing
Mhm.
on a global level, and then for that to be the last show. Some people say it was a great way they went out, which was small and just family. Others say, you know, for it to be such a big name, it shouldn't have went out that way. It's like Floyd's last fight being against a 14-year-old or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not taking shots at you, Floyd, for about to fight a kickboxing guy, but I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But something interesting happened during that show. So I'm pretty sure you watched the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight, right?
Oh, man, we talk about that? What?
We will talk about it.
Oh, my God.
We talked about it last week.
What do you think
I know
about-
you had a lot to say.
What do you think about that fight, Pops?
You don't watch our show?
Yeah.
Well, it was garbage.
Ooh.
Wow. Who made it garbage?
It was boo over rice.
Boo-boo over rice. That's a food that shouldn't be eaten. Yes.
It was
But,
garbage.
what was your question, Christian? Christian, the Christian?
Oh, so what'd you think about the judging in that fight?
Yeah.
The judging? Mr. Alejandro.
Yep.
Mhm.
I have a friend that was a referee, well, a judge at the fight too. His name is Stevie Wonder, and he gave the fight to Fury. He said, hands down, man. And he said, even I could see Fury won the fight.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
saw Fury winning.
Absolutely. Like I said, you want to give it to him because he's a good guy and because of the fight that he won outside of boxing,
Mhm.
mental
Yeah.
illness. But if you're actually a true boxing fan, you understand that one knockdown doesn't change the fight.
Yeah.
It may change the momentum,
Or
but
two.
it doesn't change the
Mhm.
outcome. Or
Even two knockdowns.
Yeah, two. I
Yeah.
mean, two. And that man got up from something he shouldn't have got up on. And I gotta say this because of all the boxing fans that's commenting right now. They started the 8 count late and they're on Wilder's side. You can't start the 8 count until the opponent is in the neutral corner. So that's why you don't celebrate and taunt.
This foot was over here dancing.
Yeah, you're
blowing
dancing and
kisses.
you're percolating and doing whatever you're doing and moonwalking. You got to get back to the corner because as soon as you get to the corner, they can start the count.
I had never heard anybody before complain about the count by the referee.
They only complained about it. They didn't complain about it when Wilder was hurt by Kong.
Right.
That
Yeah.
count was 20 seconds.
Yep.
But you didn't hear that from me.
Mhm.
My boy Stevie Wonder said it.
You should bring him on someday.
I will. I gotta find him first.
Yeah.
Or you gotta find you.
If he's alone, oh, you're going to help.
Yeah, we even
All
talked
right.
about like mathematically, it was just not possible. I mean,
Yeah.
even with those two knockdowns,
That was tough, but we brought that up to
What?
say Mr. Alejandro Rochin was actually there last
Mhm.
weekend at
Where?
the last HBO
HBO
show.
Oh yeah,
show.
he told me
Yeah.
he had witness protection next to him, right?
Maybe before we got to him.
I confronted him.
We confirmed.
Maybe
You
before
did?
we got to
Yeah,
him.
we got
Oh,
footage.
man, I know you was
We have the
scared.
video
No, it
on
wasn't.
YouTube as well.
You have on YouTube. What do you say?
What do you say, Chris?
He's like,
He
no.
said-
He's like, no, I can't answer questions. And as soon as he did that, I just told him, "How did you have it for Wilder 115, 111?" He just turned around and just walked away.
Really?
How did you have it 115, 111 for Wilder? No answer?
The stadium.
I heard a different story.
No,
what'd you hear?
The videos
I
there.
heard you said something and you said no, and then he said no me diga que no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, Anthony, because like we actually, looked them up and after the Wilder fight, we're like, he's probably not gonna work. No, we looked them up. He had that the HBO gig, and so that's when me and
No
Chris
days
talked
off,
about
man.
it.
I don't believe they would give him another opportunity. Like me and my pops, we talked about the fight as soon as it happened. He talked to me about the judging. What do you think about it, pops?
Yeah.
So he can tell you what he told to me, as far as that judge judging the fight and giving it 50-50.
Well, I thought Wilder really lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wilder got to pick up his boxing skills, period.
Yeah.
Other than that, the next fight he might get knocked out.
He's like 31 years old. Do you see probably Wilder like upgrading his skills for the next fight? Is there anything he could do?
Nah, he's set.
Right?
Yeah.
He's set in his ways.
This is something he should have learned, like
He should have learned that long time ago.
Yeah.
So it seems like he only has that puncher's chance and
Puncher's chance.
Man.
He has no boxing
He's
skills.
what you call a one-trick pony.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
One
This is like
trick.
exactly what we said last week, right? But yeah, that's pretty crazy. How many rounds did you guys give Wilder, if
I give
any?
3, if that.
Yeah, that's all.
I gave him the 2 rounds that he won when he knocked the boy down. That's it.
Even then, we thought those were pretty close rounds.
It was
So,
pretty close. I mean, even the knockdown 8-10
Yeah,
round.
but I mean, it's automatic for judges. They just
Gave him
easy
8-10.
10-8.
That's why you
know?
should make judges, or for instance, I never speak on things I don't understand or know I've been a part of. Judges shouldn't be judges if they never boxed
Yep.
in a ring or know anything of boxing. That's why I
Right.
respect you guys for going and boxing and being judges, because you have that, what do you call it, that perspective.
Right.
You can't tell me how to play center. You're 5'2" and never played basketball. That's the equivalent to it. So, me and my pops, we're going in hard about it, because at the end of the day, skills pay the bills, and skills don't come overnight. Wilder's not going to get them skills overnight. It's not even because the name Wilder. It could be anybody.
Hey, Anthony, there was I saw this post the other
Brother
day.
Anthony.
Brother Anthony.
Let
There
us
was-
pray.
There was this post I saw the other day where someone suggested like retired boxers should be judges. That would kind of fix the problem at least to some degree.
It depends on the boxers. 'Cause some of them are so punchy, man. Like, no, you do not want them ringside. It really depends on the fighters.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea, especially a lot of boxers in the old school days. Anybody that's been around boxing knows that those fighters aren't taken care of the way they should be because of the time period they came in.
Yeah.
Whether they weren't compensated correctly or they didn't take care of their money, it'd be a perfect opportunity to put them
Exactly.
in a position where they can do what they love and make a
Make some
living
money.
from
Yeah.
it.
Do you think besides that technology should be
Technology.
incorporated as far as the judging too, like a replay or anything like that?
I mean, there's have replays and all that, but at the end of the day, man, it come down to if it's not broke, don't fix it. So the old school way of what made people become champions, they should go by the same rules. No, the same rules that made Ali a champion, Sugar Ray Leonard a champion, Evander Holyfield a champion. Don't change it now because we have technology and other things.
I think that'd be good for boxing if they do change.
And-
Just check the knockdown.
Yeah,
Okay.
as far
For
as
the real
that,
knockdowns.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing.
I mean, and be able to overturn decisions,
Yeah.
maybe that, because, you had corrupt people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say names, but,
Right.
he had
Yeah.
referees and people betting on fights, stopping fights prematurely because they
Yeah.
had money bet on the fight. If you could replay those fights right then and there, it might be a different outcome.
Yeah.
Slips, headbutts, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as just the scoring, need to
Yeah.
have people in there who's been there, done that.
Yeah. So Anthony, for the HBO show on Alejandro Chin, we actually got it on camera and we actually uploaded it, and we were talking about how sometimes some of the media, they're afraid to ask these tough questions or to confront certain judges,
Yeah.
for X reason. But I feel like we're trying to do that. We're gonna upset a few people, but you know what? We understand that boxing is a business and there's people with like interests.
Yeah.
But we're here to just upset the card a little bit, because at the end of the day, these are people's lives on the
Yes.
line, and they are fighting, for this decision and for it to be overturned after you do the job is not okay.
I hear you, brother Christian.
No, because seriously, like
Yeah.
Tyson Fury, we know he's at times not mentally stable, right?
Absolutely. And this
What
could
if-
that can push him over in
Yeah.
this situation.
What if
Exactly.
this, basically the decision of one man, can change lives?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way, man, with the actual legal system. The swipe of a pen can create someone's life or break it. And what you're saying, Christian, my mom always raised me to say the unspoken. Unspoken is a place in between two people. Something that you want to say, that you feel the need to say, but you won't because of emotions or either respect. So a lot of times people want to say it because there's not enough room in one room for emotions and honesty. But sometimes you got to tell the people what they need to hear, whether they feel like they want to hear it or they feel like
Yeah.
they don't need to hear it.
I told Chris was the one recording, and I'm the one who confronted him, and I was telling him if he was feeling nervous and scared, and he's like, "Yeah," and I told him
What?
that I told him
At first to do it, but I knew we had to do it.
Puñeta.
no, but I told Chris, like, when you have those feelings, that's when you know you're doing the right
Yeah.
thing.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Like that hot chick. I'm kidding.
Here it goes.
Frog Dogg, back me up.
That's good.
I'm just as nervous as you.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like the times where people created change in this world or ripple effect, they were nervous about it. I did my IFL interview where I took the time to pay my dues to people with mental illness, people with identity crisis. But I was nervous as hell
Yeah.
because I don't know how this world's going to react or how they're going to hear me or
Mhm.
feel me. But shit, somebody got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, brother Christian, do you hear me?
I hear you.
Like the time.
Padre
It
nuestro
just takes
que
me
estás
back
en el
to-
cielo.
Padre Christian. Gracias, Papa Dios, para dia.
It takes me back to the what Jim was talking about, Chris. When he first interviewed for HBO, he said that he was nervous, he was shaking,
He was.
but it's because he was in the right place. He said he was just
The right place at the right time. Well,
yeah.
Christian, however you say his name. Alexandro.
Roshin.
Oh, man, that guy. I don't even know his name. It's just, you can't play people's lives like
Yeah,
that,
man.
whether you meant to or not. Everybody has a conscience, regardless of what ethnicity you come back or what ethical background. He knows something felt off when he made that decision.
Have you thought about that? Like, maybe in the future when you're in one of your boxing fights, that maybe some judge may score a.
Yeah.
How's that gonna process your mind when that happens?
So you guys want to know a story?
Mhm.
All right. So I was over in Armenia. I got disqualified in the junior world championships.
Who'd you bite this time?
I didn't bite him. Actually, I body slammed him and stumped him LA style. Yeah. So I kept getting elbowed in the head, and at the time I was really close friends with 50 Cent because I was out there with Floyd Mayweather. So 50 Cent, we're good friends. He
Get
flew
the
my
strap.
mother. Yeah, get the strap. He flew my mother in Armenia for me. And me and my mother have a very close connection, like me and Frog Dogg. I can see them outside there and I can hear them. So we fought like in a dome full of like 60, 70,000 people. And he elbowed me in the head over and over. He's a southpaw, so you know the elbow's right there. And he split my head open, blood gushing in my eyes. I looked over at my mom, and my mom put her thumb over her throat. I was like, get him out of here.
shit.
Like, it's okay. She put her hands in the air like,
Wow.
it's okay, son. Show him how we do it. So I went back out there, and I picked him up and body slammed him and stumped him out. He couldn't continue. I got disqualified, bottles thrown at me, all types of shit. But at the end of the day, you can't leave the fight in the judge's hand. So I couldn't knock him out, but, I mean, he was being dirty anyways. It goes to tell you, either you got to knock him out or they're going to take it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Whether I'm in your backyard or whether I'm at home, if I'm in my kitchen, I got to knock you out. So that's why when I fight, people say, you fight. Every punch is a knockout blow. You seem angry, no? But I leave this to the judges. If I leave this to a human, it's not a computer making the fight or giving me. This is a human, which is a human's imperfect. They're going to make wrong decisions. I got to knock your ass out. Otherwise, they're going to, you leave it in the air, it can go either way.
Yeah.
And a Frog, he calls every time. Anytime we watch fights, like I said, Frog, he's never boxed in a boxing ring, but he's been around boxing for years. He calls it every time. Oh, they're going to give Bivol the fight because Bivol's this, and this in this city. Or they're going to give Wilder the fight because of this, and this. He calls every time. Politics. Or y'all call street politics. Same thing goes in boxing. Whoever got them fat pockets, they can call the shots any day.
That's true.
I didn't say that, but you heard it.
That was Frog Dogg.
.com.
Hey, you dig?
I yonder did.
God damn it.
Man.
All right, you want to talk a little bit about Frog Dogg?
Okay.
See, he was in here last time.
All right, so Frog Dogg is I say the closest thing I have to like a father. Well, actually, situation with me and Freddie Roach. God damn it, I'm gonna say it. I was training with Freddie Roach, and I had the opportunity to spar Bivol, lightweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
Freddie Roach, great coach, but he has a like I wouldn't call it an ego problem, but he wants to call things on his own terms. So he didn't want to go with me to go spar Bivol. He said, if Bivol wants to spar you, Bivol can spar you here. I said, I understand, but this is the world champion. He has his own camp. If your fighter has a chance to fight against a world-class fighter, wouldn't you want to gauge your fighter out against that?
Yeah.
2 weeks he didn't show up. I was by myself. Luckily, I called my pops. I'm like, look, man, I'm going to the gym by myself. He said, well, fuck it. I'm going to go with you. So we there, and he knows boxing. He may not be able to throw the punches correctly, but he knows it down to the T, old school boxing. So he had me sticking and moving the whole time. All he could do is give me water and scream, son, you better stick and move. Don't let the motherfucker hit you. Stick and move. Go to the body, stay away. So the contract was just for 4 rounds. I got into Bivol's head so much that we went from 7 rounds to 8 rounds to 9 rounds for 2 weeks. It was just a 4-week contract. But me and him both got into his head because he knows boxing. It got to a point where they told me, next time I come back, I can't bring him because he talks too much. But the crazy thing is Bivol don't speak English barely, and his coach don't. His whole camp don't because they're Russians. So, I mean, he knows my pops. My pops is out here when I was younger. I lost my pops at the age of 6, like, we talk about. And, he filled that void. For anybody listening, a father figure isn't somebody that's always blood. A father figure is a father figure, regardless of how they look, how they sound, how they act. Like I said, a man is not characterized by how tall he is or what does he do or how strong he is. He's characterized by the morals in his heart and what he stands for. That's a father figure. Even though if he's done wrong his whole life, if he can tell you exactly what not to do and how to get there and how to be positive and successful, then listen to him. So, I said, Frog Dogg's my father figure. And don't base things off of time. Base things off of energy. Energy will never lie to you. And from the first moment I met Frog Dogg, energy didn't lie to me. He said, look, man, you got a good head on your shoulders. I want you to stay out the streets. You're going to stay with me. I'm going to take good care of you. Make sure that you make it all the way to the top. Nobody going to fuck with you while you with me. Whether in Long Beach, Compton, Inglewood, whatever the case is. And he's been right there ever since. From the moment I moved out here, he's been right there on my right-hand side. Just right there. Anytime I need anything. And everybody can say, I'll be honest about it because I feel like a lot of people's in my position. People, for the most part, boxers, we're not always rolling in dough. We're not born rolling in dough. That's why a lot of us choose boxing because it's a way to release how we feel because we're dealing with something, whether it's physical, mental, whether it's materialistic. We're all dealing with some shit. So at one point, like I said, I didn't have 2 quarters to rub together. He's paying for my food, my gas, taking care of my ass because I have shit. I wasn't always signed with Eddie Hearns. I wasn't always making money. So, you really find out who your friends really are when you ain't got shit. And when I was sleeping on the air mattress, just moved out here, trained with Freddie Roach, shit wasn't going right, and I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. Cause things ain't working with me and Freddie, and I'm sparring a world champion. I don't know what I'm going to do. He had my back. My first fight going to Wales. I'm fighting in Wales, and this is a do or die. Well, Eddie Hearns is either he's going to continue this contract or he's going to cut it. He told me, depending on how this fight goes, either I'm going to send your ass back in no contract, or I'm going to send you back with a fat contract. Frog Dogg played a major part in me getting this fat-ass contract because if I would have looked like garbage going to this fight, then it would have been a no-do. For those that don't know, I'm 17-0 with 60 knockouts. So my record says that I'm a puncher. I'm flat-footed. That's how it was. Most of my career, I just go to people and try to knock them out. He made me start boxing. People don't know that. He's the reason why I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He made me get on my toes, legit. Because with Bivol, I can't knock Bivol out. Bivol's strong and too dangerous. So I started that boxing shit probably about like 7 months ago with him. We be in the front yard in Compton. In the front yard, he's showing me how to stick and move, legit. In the front yard in Compton. People washing their cars, driving by, newspaper man, he's telling me stick and move. He's showing me bit by bit, look, son, you got to do this. We was watching Bivol fight, who's Bivol fighting? We was watching a Bivol fight a year ago, and he told me, look, son, you're going to be fighting this motherfucker, so right now you got to start sticking and moving. I'm telling you, you're going to fight him. You're going to see him. He's spoken into existence. Yeah. And ever since then, like I said, man, long story short, he's been right there the whole step of the way, man.
Are you getting ready for your next fight?
I can't tell you that. Yeah, actually, I am. Right now, I'm in negotiations with Eddie Hearns. So things are looking really great, really bright. You might even see me with Canelo in the future. You never know because we're in the same weight class. I mean, yeah. I forgot you guys are paisas. Yeah, but it's in the future, man. Step by step, I'm not in a rush, like and I got a Frog Dogg with me right behind me. A lot of things that you hear me say, it's not always me. A lot of times it's him, speaking through me. Like the mental illness. It's not something I want to talk about. But he told me, look, man, you got character. I mean, not character, but you got the it factor. What's inside of you, you need to share with the world.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to share it. I was going to keep it all to myself. You know, me acting goofy and crazy and just me being vibrant. But he told me that character that you have outside the ring, well, inside the ring, spread it with people outside. People love you. Love them back.
Mm.
So I give all thanks to him, man. Frog Dogg, he's been taking good care of me ever since I've been here.
Hey.
And it's just like that.
Hey.
Hey. So what are some of the things that you tell him, like when you see him boxing?
All right, go ahead and tell him, Frog.
How do you get to his head?
Well,
When he's not listening,
well,
what do you got to tell
Well,
him?
he listens.
Mm.
Well, I just tell him to lock the door. Church, lock the door.
really, my last fight, he was screaming that shit. He says, church locked the door. Okay, for instance, one time I sparring Bivol, right?
Okay.
Bivol hit me with the right hand. That shit ripped my headgear clean off my head. Ripped it off. He went flying into the next room. And I stopped, and I pointed at his manager. I said, you owe me a new fucking headgear. And I walked back to the corner, and he's like, you okay? He just bust you the fuck up. You straight? You all right? He's like, shit, you shouldn't be walking after that. He's like, well, don't let him hit you with that shit no more. And send me right back out there. But I say a lot of things he says is not always boxing. If anybody knows boxing is like a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to speak boxing in order for it to be boxing. You know? You tell me go out there, hey, stay safe, think smart. That ain't got nothing to do with boxing. That's life, period.
Right.
Stay smart. Stay safe, be smart. Don't do nothing stupid. Take your time. Enjoy yourself. I ain't say anything about boxing. That's life, period. But boxing and life is the same rules. So a lot of times what he says, man, it might not be nothing with a jab or nothing. You know, hit the switches on him real quick. Hey, really, you know. I'll come back to the ring. Hey, show him how we coming. Straight from Compton. Show him how we get down. That's all he may give me, the advice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how he looking at you. Go tell him what I said. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Or no, here's the main one he like to say. Go check his pockets.
Go check his pocket.
Really, go check his pockets. When you say go check his pockets, that mean go press him.
Okay.
And I checked his
Okay.
pockets that last time, and I got everything I wanted. Even his driver license.
The magician,
The magician.
Yeah.
making things disappear.
Abracadabra, now you're gone.
So guys, I mentor some middle school kids,
Yes,
and
Brother Christian.
something that I've learned is like, you feel like you're gonna, like you're teaching these kids something, but many of the times you learn something back or you get something back. What have you gained from your time with Anthony?
Well, I gained a lot, man. A lot of trust. You know what I mean? I have a lot of fun with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a big kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it this way, like, you know, we give it to people raw. I lost my father growing up, so I don't have a father. They said he has a son, and his son's an amazing dude, great, but his son never been a boxing world. That's the one thing that he longs for because he wanted to be a boxer. So it's like we fill that void for each other without even trying, you know, and I could have been anywhere doing anything, but we crossed paths, and it was great. You know, my pops was out here way before I was born. So it's like, you know, it's God blesses and a ripple effect, and when he blesses you, he blesses others. People eat off your plate, you know, overruns with blessings. So I feel like we're just blessing each other, man. And anybody we coming in contact with, you know, America's most wanted.
Do you ever get nervous when you watch him fight?
I'm nervous now. You sweating shit.
Yeah, when you get an AC in here.
Yeah, all right. He thinking like Biggie or Pac, like somebody about to rush in here and do something.
Nah, we safe in here, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we safe.
You
Automatic
see that
locks.
guy over there?
Yeah.
He's there for a reason.
Hey, that's my boy, Panchito Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah, better watch out for them fool.
Gotta watch out for him, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
See you fool.
Let me ask you a question. What's been one of your favorite fighters of all time, and do you incorporate something from watching that fighter into Anthony Sims?
Yes, I like Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes.
Hey.
They got the best jabs.
No, Larry had a
Straight
real
right
jab.
hand.
Yeah.
I call Larry Holmes, he had a missile. That's what a guided missile. The right hand was a guided missile. So I tell Anthony, stay on your toes and keep that left hand up and guide that missile. It'll take him home.
Yeah, he tells me just don't look like Larry Holmes when he fought Mike Tyson.
That's the old Larry Holmes.
What's one of the things that Anthony needs to develop right now?
More confidence.
What?
More?
Anthony don't know how how much his talent is.
He's right.
He don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
He don't know how good he is.
Yeah.
Hey.
But here's the flip to that. So when he's saying I need to get more confidence, it's not that I'm confident in myself, but I think it's a good thing. I don't know how good I am because when you find out how great you really are, I feel like you reach your peak.
Yeah, I guess.
What signs does he give you that he still doesn't have that confidence yet?
He asking the wrong questions. Man.
I'm asking the right.
Go ahead.
You don't give me no sign. I just know.
Right. You
know
just
what I
feel
mean?
it, right?
I just feel it.
Okay.
Certain things he do, I
Yeah.
want him to pick it up.
You know, it's like LeBron James. LeBron
Know what I
James
mean?
probably know he's LeBron James when he was my age.
Mm.
You know, you got to grow into things. And I don't really want to know how great I am. I feel like my mindset is always that I'm not enough or I'm too slow. I'm too weak.
Yeah, that's kind of a good thing sometimes, right? Because you always tell yourself that I can be better.
Yeah, I feel
Right.
like when you realize how great you really are, I feel like that arrogance and that conceit. Well, I can't even say it. Concedence.
Conceited.
Yeah,
Yes.
conceited. Thank you, brother.
But you don't bring that out.
No,
It's just-
not at all. But he's right. I don't think I know how truly great I am.
I
but
feel like
it's-
sometimes he could step on that gas pedal a little more.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Always.
Some of the opponents don't even supposed to be in there. Get them out fast.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Church lock the door.
Yes. Church like the door. It means it's all about to go down.
It's good like that. So.
Yeah, I think Sergio Mora said something about that too, like in the fight with
Yeah, the last guy.
yeah, he's
And
like,
I had to snap on him.
even though you had already taken the guy out the
Yeah.
first round, it was already over the first round.
Sergio, I told Sergio, I said, if you think I'm fighting such less opposition, how about you fight me?
Right.
And that's when the camera directed to the person next to me
So
off
this-
of him.
You call the surgery out.
Oh, I called Chris out too. Chris, from
Chris-
Dazen. The white dude.
Chris Mannix?
Yes, him.
Okay.
I'm going to find him. I don't like what he's saying and how he's saying it.
What exactly did he say?
I can't say that.
Tell us later.
You can tell us
It's
later.
in my contract.
Uh-oh. Eddie Hearn.
So you told us Sugar Ray Leonard was your favorite fighter, right?
Absolutely.
And he calls fights for the zone.
Zone, yes. So to be able to meet him, I was able to meet Ali, but when I met him, he had passed away. I was there at his funeral. But yeah, for him to be right there, I can't put into words, and that's cliche, but it's like, can you imagine being in the era of Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, to be right there and see these fights? It's not the same, watching it, reminiscing about it, but to be there and see it, like what? So to be around somebody from that time period, that did it, just to be in his presence, it's a blessing. Anytime we're in Floyd Mayweather's and Terrence Crawford, that's great, but nothing compares to that time period.
Right.
The funk, the outfits, the glow, the gestures, how they spoke, how they walk, how they talk, the music, civil rights, just everything that was going on at that time period. Equality, respect. There's so much people was fighting for. There's so much going on. And it's beautiful. It was tragic shit going on too, but you can't have one without the other. Beauty and tragedy is one and the same. But just to be around that, him be part of that, man. And him for me to say, I'm gonna pass you the torch. I said, stop playing. I was like, can I call you Sugar? He said no.
Anthony talks about like the past fighters back then. Is there anything that you see in boxing in today's generation that's missing from back then? Like what's going on with this generation of boxers?
They not being taught right.
Mm.
It's a whole lot
Oh
of
my God.
one-trick ponies.
Yep.
You want to elaborate on specific examples of which boxers?
You already gave one, right?
Church
You gave
locked the
Deontay
door.
Wilder.
No, it's just a lot of them out there that just only know how to fight one way
Mm-hmm.
and not being taught the whole game, inside and out. So,
Who are some fighters that you see right now in this generation that you're like, whoa?
Me.
Anthony Sims Jr.
Yeah, besides Anthony.
You know that one guy they called him magician?
yeah, Anthony and I like the Charlo brothers. I like the Charlos. They all right. You know what I mean? But I don't care nothing about nobody but him.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it to the top with him, then everybody else, they can fall in.
I don't mean to put it all on me, but I mean, I've gotten coached by some of the greatest. A lot of them are either no longer around or not in a position to coach no more. Whether it's Emmanuel Stewart, Roger Mayweather, Freddie Roach. I've gotten Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, Hank Johnson, Marvin Johnson's brother. Marvin Johnson, a three-time light heavyweight champion. I've been a coach for much of my career. But a lot of these coaches now are not really coaches. They're strength and conditioning coaches. They're not boxing coaches. For you, in order you to teach the sweet science, you have to be part of the sweet science.
Yeah.
So unless you over 50, don't tell me shit.
Yeah. I was gonna.
Against the Rogues, number one.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.